3FM. Follow us on social media. Twitter at 3FM927. Facebook at 3FM927. And also on 3news.com.
Accra gets busy on this frequency. 92.7 3FM.
Good afternoon, welcome to Midday News right here on 3FM 92.7. We come to you live from our studios here at Adesawe Kanda in Accra and our numerous affiliates across the country. We're also live on our social media platforms on Facebook and on X. Coming up this afternoon, President Mahama says government is engaging Speaker of Parliament on sponsoring the controversial anti-LGBTQ bill. Also, Volta Regional Coordinating Council declares water from Toje as safe for usage after preliminary investigations. We'll bring you details of that shortly. Also, 4 students of the Christian Methodist Senior High School at Aplaku in the Ga South municipality arrested by police following a violent clash between some students and town folks. And much later in the bulletin, suspect in Kwame Nkrumah University Science and Technology final year student death arraigned before the Prempeh Assembly Hall Circuit Court. We have details of these and many more stories coming up in the next 30 minutes. Do stay with us. I'm Judith Brown. We start with education, and 4 students of the Christian Methodist Senior High School at Aplaku in the Ga South municipality of the Greater Accra region have been arrested by police as a result of a violent clash between some students and town folks. A misunderstanding between some students who attacked their colleague on Thursday escalated on Friday morning, leading to some injuries. Well, our correspondent Akwesiado has been following up on this particular story, and he's joining us for more details on this. Akwesi, what really led to this incident?
Because of having a disagreement with them. So on Thursday evening, one of the council was actually charged with a student by a student from the Senior High School. And so it caused some tension in the community. So this morning, some town folks gathered at the entrance of the school, and then they decided that they were only going to allow female students of the school to enter the campus, while they subjected the male students to campus of sex. And then through the search, they found some offensive weapons like jackknives, machetes, and then a pair of scissors on some of these students. So while they were embarking on that particular test, a student attacked an elder of the community who happens to be a youth. And so it instigated the community members who launched an attack on the students.
Well, thank you very much for that. We'll definitely get more details from our correspondent Akwesiado, who's been following up on this issue shortly. But let's head to the northern region, where the Bumpurugu district is once again engulfed in turmoil as the chieftaincy dispute between Nanik and Bimbago communities spiraled into chaos. Eyewitnesses describe scenes of devastation as Nanik has been reduced to ashes, with properties of food supplies consumed by flames. While the violence has claimed 3 lives and the local populace is gripped by fear as security forces attempt to restore order. Well, we're going to be speaking to the correspondent who has been following up on this story much shortly. But let's first head to KNUST. Of course, that's the Kwame Nkrumah University of Science and Technology, because the suspect in that case, the final year student, has been arraigned before the Prempeh Assembly Hall Circuit Court. Daniel Tufo was arrested after a CCTV camera captured him with the victim at the crime scene. Ibrahim Abubakar has joined us for more details on how the court proceedings ended. Ibrahim, before we talk about court proceedings, first tell us really what were the details of what was captured on that CCTV camera?
Well, which is, as I speak to you, the CCTV camera has not been made public, but the information we picked from those who had chance to watch it shows that the suspect was seen with the victim, and they saw her beating her up before carrying her and dumping her to where she was found yesterday, which is very, very close to the Disability and Rehabilitation Center at the Kwame Nkrumah University of Science and Technology. And that place is a bit dark in the evening, so they were able to identify him based on the attire he was wearing. They identified that dress, and that was the same dress the suspect was wearing in the morning when he was done writing with his midterm examination. So briefly, that has been it. That's how come the police has picked him up and arraigned him before court. But it's kind of a worrying issue, because yesterday when I went to campus and engaged with some students, I can see that some of them are in shock and fear and panic also among them. But there were others who had to complain that such abusive relationship is a bit common on campus, because these are two individuals whom most of their colleagues knew they were in a relationship for a long time. And the guy or the suspect apparently was complaining that the lady was cheating on him. And people are saying this happens a lot on campus, and you find the men beating up the ladies, and they want the authorities to try and address this situation. But yesterday, we do know that the family of the deceased, that's the mother and father, came all the way from Volta region to campus. And as I speak to you, they are receiving some form of psychological support from the university management.
Well, Ibrahim, it's interesting to know what you're saying, that they say this is common practice on the University of Ghana, the KNUST campus. Well, we're yet to see really what will be done about that. But let's talk about the court proceedings. What really has been happening in court?
Well, today it was a brief session. Daniel Nanatufo was brought in court. His plea was not taken, and the prosecutor demanded that they be given ample time to finish up with their investigation. So as I speak to you, the suspect has been remanded in police custody. He's supposed to reappear in court on March 14. But the family, of course, of the deceased were here. The father, I saw the father together with some members who were all in black. You could see that the mood is not too good. But they say they are just hoping and believing that justice will be served to them, even though it will not bring back their daughter, but at least it will assuage their pain.
Well, Ibrahim, you say that his plea was not taken. Was he pleading not guilty? And if so, on what basis exactly?
Because today is the first appearance, so they brought him in to demand for extension so that they could be able to finish up with their investigation. You know, usually when it's case involving murder, it even starts at the district court, that's the committal proceedings, before they will even move it at the high court to continue with the case. So basically that is what they did. The plea was not taken, but they had to adjourn the case to March 14th.
Right, many thanks for your time. That's my colleague Ibrahim Abubakar. He has been giving us details on that very popular and sad case in the Kwame Nkrumah University of Science and Technology, where a level 400 student, female, has been found dead, and her supposed boyfriend allegedly was arrested in connection with that case. We'll definitely get more details on that in our subsequent bulletins. But let's head back to the issue, still on education. Education, where 4 students of the Christian Methodist Senior High School at Aplaku in the Gas South municipality of the Greater Accra region have been arrested by police as a result of a violent clash between some students and town folks. And my colleague Akwesiado is joining us once more with details on this particular incident. Akwesi, you were explaining really what led to this incident.
Okay, so what happened was that on Thursday, some students from the Christian Methodist Senior High School here in Aplaku, in the Gas South municipality of the Greater Accra region, were found attacking their colleague students over a missing phone. And so they were doing this in the heart of the community. So whilst in the act, the student who was under attack sought solace from a shop in town. And then the owner of the shop tried calming down the students who were hell-bent on still launching the attack when their colleague students who had already had some injuries. And so while the man was engaging these students, they actually attacked him, causing some members of their community to also intervene and then launch an attack on the students. So the matter was settled amicably. But on Thursday evening at around 5 p.m., a member of the town was stabbed with a pair of scissors by a student from the school. And so that infuriated the town folks, who also decided to, retaliate that particular attack. And so this morning, while students were coming to campus, some members of the community were manning the school's entrance. And what they were doing was that they subjected the male students to a search while they allowed the female students to have access to the campus. So during the search, one student was allegedly recorded to have slapped a youth chief from the community, which infuriated the members of the community who escalated the attack on these students. So the police had to intervene to ensure that calmness was restored here on campus. But what happened was that while the police and the community members conducted the search on students, they found some weapons like jackknives and pair of scissors and machetes on some of these students, which caused the police to arrest 4 of them. So currently, as I speak with you now, academic activities have come to a halt, and it took a military detachment, that is with the Gas South municipality, to intervene and to ensure that the members of the community who had thronged to the campus here did retreat from the campus. But some parents have come for the awards, and then what school management has done is that they have moved the students from the classrooms that are a bit closer to the community to a central point where it will be difficult for anybody to attack them.
Okay, now, Kwesiado, you spoke about the fact that the 4 students were arrested as a result of some weapons that were on them. But what about the town folk that, launched a bit of an attack on these students? Were they also arrested?
So it is not that the police are about to launch a full-scale investigation into the matter to ensure that persons who participated actively in this particular violence, either from the side or the community or the school community, is apprehended and then subjected to investigation. But let me mention that this is not the first time the Christian Methodist Senior High School is in the news for a very wrong reason. Somewhere last year, a similar incident occurred, which led to the death of one student. And so even on campus here, we have some teachers who are complaining about the attitude of students. They are complaining that, in fact, it looks as if discipline is actually breaking down here in the school.
Right, many thanks for your time. That's my colleague, Akwesiado. He has been bringing us all the details as regards to the arrest of some 4 students in the Christian Methodist Senior High School. Definitely, we'll have more details for you on this particular incident in our subsequent bulletins. But we're heading back to the northern region, specifically the Buntrugu district, which is once again engulfed in a turmoil. A chieftaincy dispute between Nanik and Bimbagu communities have spiraled into chaos. Eyewitnesses have described the scenes of devastation as Nanique has been reduced to ashes, with property and food supplies consumed by flames. The violence has claimed 3 lives, and the local populace is gripped by fear as security forces attempt to restore order. Let's cross over and engage with Solomon Kwame Kanalue for more details on this. Solomon, now what is the situation now?
All right, thank you so much. As it starts, the situation is very tense. In fact, though security presence are on grounds, but because this situation keeps repeating itself, now the residents have off it and no one knows their whereabouts. And mostly when it happens like this, they go to prepare themselves and reappear. So as it stands now, the situation here is very tense. And in fact, when you come to this place, the scene is too bad.
But what is the level of destruction between these two communities?
As it stands now, for Nanique community, it has completely been burnt down to ashes. It is between Nanique and Bimbago, and Bimbago, they are the majority. And so they are able to overcome the Nanique people. And so for Bimbago community, you cannot see any house that has been touched. But for Nanique, it has completely been burnt down as it stands. So when you come to Nanique community, there is no one.
But what then happens to the people in this community? How are they going to relocate? Are there any measures that have been put in place to help rebuild the community or anything of the sort?
Well, as it stands now, we are yet to hear from DISEC and whatever they will come out with. But for now, these people have fled to bushes and maybe other places for safety. But now, as I speak with you, the Bimbago community, you have the people there and the security even at the Bimbago community. But for Nanique, there is no one there at the moment.
Well, many thanks for your time. That's our colleague Solomon Kwame Kanalue, who has been speaking to us from the Bunkprugu district in the northern region, where there has been some chaos between two communities. We're hoping to see really what will be the case when it comes to the Nanique community that has been burnt down completely to ashes. But let's head now to the Volta region, because the Volta Regional Coordinating Council has declared water from the Toje as safe for usage after preliminary investigations. Now, water from the river was last week declared unsafe for consumption as a result of fears that it was possibly contaminated from agrochemicals that spilled into the river at Tove in Togo when a truck carrying agrochemicals was involved in an accident. But the Volta Regional Coordinating Council, in a latest press release dated 27 February 2025, has declared the water safe. A correspondent Faisal Abdu Idris joins us with more details on this. Faisal, what more have you gathered from the Volta Regional Coordinating Council regarding the issue?
Yes, so Beatrice, this river we are talking about draws its source from the Volta River, and the tributaries move all the way through Togo, through the whole West constituency, down to the Agotima Ethiopia district, and then also through the Adaklu and the Akachi South areas. And so communities along the river in these districts rely largely on the Toje for domestic use, cooking, bathing, among others. So last week when the issue came up, they were warned not to use the water until investigations are concluded. And so the VRCC, including some MPs from the area, had to ensure that water tankers were used to deliver water as alternative sources to the people. Then yesterday, the VRCC issued a communique indicating that preliminary investigations that have been conducted collaboratively by the Ghana Standards Authority, the Food and Drugs Authority, the Ghana Water Company, among several other relevant bodies, indicate that the water is still normal and could be used. But they are advising that residents would have to treat the water before they use. They also indicated that further investigations are currently underway to ensure that a full closure is made to the issue. They are also liaising with their counterparts in Togo, where we are told the accident happened, to ensure that they get deeper into the investigations and be sure that the water is safer for use. I spoke to the regional, the coordinating director of the Volta Regional Coordinating Council earlier this morning, Augustus Awiti. Let's listen to what he told me on this subject matter.
Wrote to the various authorities in the regions and agencies such as Ghana Standard Authority, NADMO, Food and Drug Authority, the Regional Environmental Health Unit, to go and do a preliminary examination of the Torgine to ascertain whether there's a contamination or not. After the preliminary examination of the fishes and so on and so forth and the water, the findings is that there's no suspected contamination as of now. And the caution is that we are waiting for the final determination from the Ghana Standard Authority laboratory. And therefore, we are cautioning residents not to rely on the raw water, because even at certain points of the Torgine, there are suspected iron deposits, and which is not good for consumption. So we are asking them not to rely on the raw water for now until the final test results are out. So they should only use the treated water from the lake.
Faisal, if you're still with us, well, you're speaking to Judith, by the way, but have you seen these residents using the water now?
Yes, as of this morning, people have begun fetching it, but they are cautious as advised by the Volta Regional Coordinating Council. We do not know how long the last investigations, the final investigations, will take before the water is declared safer than it is as anticipated now. And so we are waiting for that final determination by the Ghana Standards Authority, and that to be issued by the Volta Regional Coordinating Council. So people have started using the water.
Right, many thanks for your time. That's my colleague Faisal Abdul Idris. He's been joining us from the Volta region, bringing us more details on that particular story. Now we'll head to Parliament soon, but before then, President Mahama has announced that his government is engaging the Speaker of Parliament on sponsoring the botched anti-LGBTQI bill. Now, the private member-sponsored bill was passed by Parliament in February 2024, never received a presidential assent to become a law after a series of legal actions challenging its constitutionality. Although the Supreme Court eventually dismissed the lawsuits, the piece of legislation did not receive the backing of the president at the time, Nana Dankwa Akufo-Addo. Now, speaking at the president's worship with the clergy at the National Prayer and Thanksgiving service, President John Dramani Mahama says he only believes two genders exist in the world, male and female.
I've spoken with the Speaker so that a renewal of the expired Proper Families Bill, Values Bill, should be a bill that is introduced by government rather than as a private member's motion. And it's my hope that that consultation would see a renewed Proper Families Values Bill. My brothers and sisters, I believe that our leadership must reflect the aspirations of the people that we govern, and on this I stand firm. Yesterday I had the honor of addressing the nation in my first State of the Nation address before Parliament. And as I promised during the campaign, I was as truthful as possible to the people of Ghana about what the state of the economy and the nation is. It was necessary for me to lay bare the extent to which our economy has been mismanaged. But let me be clear, my purpose is not to dwell on the past failures. And as I said to Parliament, I was not there to lament about the dire situation that I have inherited.
Oh, you heard that President John Dramani Mahama on the issue of the LGBTQI bill. Now let's head back to Parliament, where the Deputy Minister Designate for Local Government, Chieftaincy and Religious Affairs, Rita Odolesewa, is currently underway.
And I believe he will make the 30% mark. As I sit here, I started with him as Municipal Chief Executive. He appointed me to that position. So I believe he's someone who wants to work with women and works with women. And so he will achieve the 30% in the affirmative action law. And I know he's on course. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Honorable Chair. A follow-up to that. I appreciate the effort made by the President to even give us a Vice President who is a female. and I appreciate very well. And I believe that in order not for the Affirmative Action Act to be just lying on the shelf and its implementation becoming so difficult, I asked a specific question. That what would you advise the president? Do you think, let me give you an alternative, maybe that will help. If you don't agree with me, say you don't agree with me. Don't you think that the president will require a unit whereby he will make the conscious effort to search and identify the women that can work? Because he came with an excuse that even with the district assemblies, he's having difficulty because not many women have applied for it. But I know there are some women who have applied. And if care is taken, he will be able to achieve it. Don't you think he requires that unit to advise him?
Thank you, Honorable Chair. I believe my ministry, together with the gender ministry, will collaborate to see how best would the president will improve on the percentage of women we have. Like you rightly said about the district assembly, most women are shying away from politics, and we need to encourage them. Like I said, we need to have mentorship programs for the women, so that if we make a conscious effort, we know that within 5, 10, 15, 20 years, we'll have a number of women coming up there. Because believe you me, no man will come and pull you from your house to come and join the political race. You need to, we women, we need to make a conscious effort to mentor other women that are coming up to fill up the space where we have it. So I know His Excellency, the President, John Dramani Mahama, is listening to us, and he has heard you. And so with the Gender Ministry, we'll take it from there. Thank you.
You're still live on News Central here on TV3. There'll be more from that veteran.
Well, you heard that. Of course, we went to Parliament, where the Deputy Minister Designate for Local and Chieftaincy Affairs, Local Government and Chieftaincy Affairs, Rita Odole-Soa, was happening right there. And you had the Deputy Minority Leader, Patricia Appiah-Jay, speaking or asking about the issue of the Affirmative Action Bill and what she believes would be the case with President Mahama and the appointments that he is yet to make as regards to the number of women. She believes, of course, they're not as many as they expect them to be. But we're expecting that 3 other Deputy Minister Designates would be vetted today if they're able to go as scheduled. But we'll get more from Parliament much later. But let's do one more story before we go. And the government has announced its intention to operationalize the Komenda Sugar Factory as soon as possible. Once the factory resumes operations, it is expected to run 24 hours a day with the goal of creating jobs for local residents. Correspondent Akwesiado has found this report.
The Minister for Agribusiness, Trade and Industry, Elizabeth Ofosu-Ejare, paid a visit to the Komenda Sugar Factory to acquire first-hand information on the state of affairs at the factory. After touring the factory, the minister announced that government has a special interest in ensuring that the factory resumes its sugar production from locally grown sugarcane. Even though no specific timeline was given by the minister, she announced that the factory will soon be operational. She announced also that government intends to expand the capacity of the factory and also bring on board strategic investors, especially in the growing of sugarcane, to feed the factory.
The regional minister, the MP Nananom, and my good self will work together on the instructions of His Excellency John Dramani Mahama to revamp Komenda Sugar Factory. We hope to extend the capacity once we start work. The plans for this factory is huge, and I'm sure that very soon we will see signs of work at this place. I'm grateful to the regional minister, Nananom, the MP, and all the people here for the support they've given me since I was appointed as Minister for Trade in my bid to carry on the instructions of His Excellency to make sure that this factory works so that our young people will find job and then we'll have advantage of the full value chain. Look at it, the agribusiness side of agriculture. So the plantation will happen, young people provide machinery, transportation, some will buy and supply the factory. It is going to be huge, it's going to be great. And so I'm excited at the prospect, and I'm sure Excellency John Dramani Mahama will be proud of himself very soon because of how this factory will work.
The Central Regional Minister, Eko Penyin, promised to have the concerns of sugarcane farmers properly addressed as government plans to revitalize the factory. He said a special variety of sugarcane, which is high yielding, will be provided for farmers to grow.
A major concern of farmers that they have not been properly integrated in discussions regarding this factory. Are we having new plans for our local farmers?
Yeah, we've given them some education that once they have the land, they'll be given the right, variety of sugar for the factory. And so while we do that, we'll be educating them to be part of the factory. We cannot take them out of the processing activities. Yeah.
For TV3 News, I am Akwesi Ado, Commander.
And that's our wrap up the midday news right here on 3FM 92.7. A pleasure coming to you always. My name is Judith Brown. Do stay tuned. Business News is up next.
And hello there, good afternoon. Welcome to Business Daily here on 3FM 92.7. Coming up, Ghana's interest rate remains second highest in Africa, but leads on the continent with declining rates. We'll bring you details of the Bank of Ghana's latest report. Also, China maintains lead as Ghana's largest import partner with total imports exceeding 50 billion cedis. We'll bring you details of the Ghana Statistical Service data. I am Michael Obudu. Details of these and more coming up shortly. Please stay. And thank you so much for your time. Straight into our top story. Ghana has recorded the sharpest decline in interest rates among 11 African countries since the start of the year. However, the country still holds the second highest interest rates on the continent, with Egypt leading. The following 3 Business News Desk report has the details.
Ghana has experienced the biggest drop in interest rates among 11 African countries, with the yield on the 91-day Treasury bill falling by 3.94 percentage points to 24.48%, while the 182-day bill declined by 3.58 percentage points to 25.39%. Despite this downward trend, Ghana still ranks second with the highest interest rates in Africa behind Egypt. The Bank of Ghana's latest data shows that Treasury bill rates and the interbank weighted average rate have all declined, contributing to a reduction in average lending rates for banks from 33.75% to 30.25% over the past year. Analysts say the continued decline in interest rates could compel the central bank to cut its monetary policy rate from the current 27%. Meanwhile, Rwanda remains the country with the lowest interest rates, with its 91-day and 182-day Treasury bills pegged at just over 7%.
And that was a 3 Business News Desk report. Now, Data from the Ghana Statistical Service shows China remains Ghana's top import source in 2024, with total imports exceeding 50 billion cedis. The United Arab Emirates and the United Kingdom have replaced the Netherlands and Russia in the top 5, with fuel imports dominating the list. This report has more.
China continues to dominate Ghana's import market, retaining its position as the country's largest source of imports in 2024. According to the Ghana Statistical Service, imports from China surged from 33.9 billion cedis in 2023 to 56.8 billion cedis this year. The United Arab Emirates and the United Kingdom have now emerged as Ghana's second and third largest import partners, with imports valued at 21.9 billion cedis and 19 billion cedis respectively. They have replaced the Netherlands and Russia in the top 5, joining India and the United States, both of which recorded imports exceeding 10 billion cedis. Fuel products continue to drive Ghana's import demand, with 10 key products accounting for over 33% of all imports. Automotive gas oil, commonly known as diesel, recorded the highest import value at 28.9 billion cedis, while motor spirit or super followed closely at 24.1 billion cedis. The rise in fuel imports reflects Ghana's growing energy needs and reliance on external sources to meet domestic demand. Analysts say the shift in trade partners also highlights changing global supply dynamics and Ghana's evolving import priorities.
That was a 3 Business News Desk report. Now, the Ghana Ports and Harbours Authority, GPHA, has emphasized the need to review its operating law to align with modern industry trends. According to Acting Director General Brigadier General Paul Seydou Tanye Kulonu, parts of the nearly 40-year-old law have become obsolete and must be updated to ensure the authority remains relevant and effective. He made these remarks during a visit by the Minister of Transport to the authority.
Another issue has to do with the operating law of Ghana Ports and Harbour Authority. That's PNDC Law 160/1986. Due to the new development in the ports and maritime industry, some portions of the law have outlived its usefulness, and other portions too conflicts with that of Maritime Authority and the Shippers Authority. So we try to harmonize it by presenting a new bill, which is in your office. But with your kind permission, I would like to withdraw that bill so that we'll take a second look at it and then we'll resubmit it as early as possible.
Meanwhile, the Acting Director General of the Ghana Ports and Harbours Authority has also reaffirmed the authority's commitment to enhancing port operations, particularly through the adoption of advanced technology to improve efficiency.
GPHA is committed to embracing innovation with a focus on modernizing our operations. We remain focused on continuous improvement, ensuring that we do not only meet the demands of the current market, but also position ourselves to meet future expectations. However, whilst we make progress, we are mindful that the path ahead requires strong partnership. The relationship between the Port Authority and your ministry is more than one of oversight. It is a dynamic and collaborative partnership. We'll always seek your counsel and guidance so that we can implement the right policies to support the growth and modernization of our ports.
And that was the Acting Director General of the Ghana Ports and Harbours Authority, Brigadier General Paul Seydou Tanye Kulonu. Now, meanwhile, the Minister of Transport has assured of government commitment to ensuring a boost in the country's ports while pledging his support for the newly appointed Director General.
Aware of the President's commitment in resetting this country, and it begins with us at the Ghana Ports and Harbours Authority, because we are the key to unlocking the economic difficulties that we are faced with. And it is not for any reason that God and the state have brought all of us to work here at the Ghana Ports and Harbours Authority. I am aware of the intentions, the plans the new Director General has. And I want to say that he has my full support and that of the President. We took office the same day with a charge from the President that wherever we find ourselves, including all of us seated here, we brighten that corner so that Ghana will once again be put on the map of excellence.
And that was Transport Minister Joseph Bukari Nikbe ending Business Daily here on 3FM 92.7. For more business stories, please visit our website. It's 3news.com/business. I am Michael Obodu. Thank you for listening. As always, please stay safe and have a great weekend.